This is your entire life represented as dots. Every dot is a week. The average human lifespan is about 4,000 weeks. So if you're 25 years old, your life looks a little like this. If you're 50, it might look like this. Or if you're 70, it looks like this. This month it's actually my birthday, March 13th, and this is what my life looks like. It's about 50% over. Now when you say it like that, it feels really heavy and sad, but I want to share some ideas that I read in this book called 4,000 Weeks, The Average Lifespan, that talks about how to approach and think about our life knowing it's temporary. Maybe you're halfway, a quarter, or three-quarters through your own life, but ways to think about that temporary time to make the most of it so it's more meaningful, and what is actually worth spending our time on knowing it is temporary. And like with every video on this channel, I'm going to share the 3 things I learned from that book, 4,000 Weeks, and what I'm trying to incorporate in my own life. Number 1, and this is way harder than it sounds, do what matters to you. We all have to do things that we have to do, like work and responsibilities, but we also need to find the things that really matters to us personally, what matters in light of our family and our community, and do those things. Or maybe you're like me and you really thought you knew what mattered to you and what you wanted to do with your life, and you spent the first 15 years of your working life doing that, and you've changed and now you're much happier. If there's anything of value you can do, no matter where you are in life, it's finding what matters to you, what means the most, and do that. And sometimes asking the right question of yourself is really key. Asking yourself, what do I want? That's really hard to answer, and you might be able to come up with a bunch of little superfluous things, but hard to really nail down the big things. So rather than ask, what do I want, or what makes me happy, try to ask yourself, what will enlarge me and what will diminish me? Meaning, if I do this thing, will it diminish me? Will I feel less for doing it? Will it take away purpose from my life? There's lots of things that can make us happy, even if it's just temporary, but sometimes doing those things over a long period doesn't really bring a lot of purpose and meaning. So ask yourself, what can I do or what do I want to do that will enlarge or diminish me? Also, within that, we do have to embrace that we're not going to get to everything. I actually really enjoy loving to travel. That's some of the pictures you see behind me. I took that when I worked at a travel agency and got to ride a camel in front of the pyramids and got to ride the Rhine River on a cruise. And whatever your passion is, maybe it's travel, maybe it's business, maybe it's building companies, we're not going to be able to do everything we want to do in this life, and that's okay. But embracing the finitude, not only of our lives, but in the things we can accomplish, can help us really value and enjoy the things we do get to do. Number 2 is a combination of patience and persistence. When you do find the thing that enlarges you and what matters to you, so you want to do it for a long time, stay with it. You have to be persistent and have patience. A lot of times the things that we want and what matters to us takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of time. I think about raising my kids with my spouse. That takes a lot of time and patience and effort, but it can be rewarding. And for me, one of the things I really wanted to do was make videos for the internet. I just wanted to, and it felt meaningful to me. And so I started doing that, like during the pandemic, like many people, but I didn't stay persistent right away. I made like 3 videos and then stopped. And then I picked it up around 2022, and now I have over 100,000 subscribers on my main channel. And I have a podcast in the top 100 tech shows, which is amazing. But there were several years in there where it took persistence and patience, and I did not see a lot of success right away. So when you find what matters to you, follow that thing, strive for that thing, but with patience and persistence. Don't stress out about it, just be persistent at it. Also, with whatever that thing is that matters to you, try to prioritize your time and pay yourself first. We're always going to have obligations, whether that's work, bills, family, and so try to carve out some time, maybe it's daily, maybe it's weekly, where you can really focus on those things that matter to you, those things that will enlarge you, that you want to be persistent and patient at. All right, and number 3, this is going to sound a little sad at first, but wait for the turn. You are cosmically insignificant, but you are relationally invaluable. What that means is, on the grand scale of like the universe and all of time and everything, each one of us individually is pretty insignificant. Even Steve Jobs, who quote unquote wanted to make a dent in the universe, he made a dent on Earth for sure and within history when it comes to technology, but a dent in the universe? That's flowery wording, but he definitely didn't. The universe is very big, and it does not know of Steve Jobs' existence. So even the most accomplished of us are pretty insignificant on a cosmic universe-like scale. But where we do find meaning is in those relationships, in the people around us, the people we care about and love or want to reach. And I know at first it might seem demotivating, like, well, if we're insignificant, why do anything? But actually, it can be kind of freeing. That means when you try something and you fail miserably, it's okay. In the grand cosmic scale, it didn't mean anything anyway. And if you have a bad day, week, month, or even several years, that also is insignificant. But over the course of your entire life, finding what matters to you, being persistent and patient at that can have immense significance, not only to you personally, but to the people around you. And relationally, that's where you're really going to leave a lasting impact, and dare I say, even a legacy. Not making a dent in the entire universe, which none of us can, but in your kids, in your spouse or partner, in your family, in your friends and community. You can have immense significance, even if we are cosmically insignificant, which should hopefully maybe free you a little bit to think you can't control time, and why even try? So much of our stress and anxiety is trying to have control over things and making sure our expectations match reality and wanting to control everything. And there's so much that we really cannot control. We can control only what we do with the time that is given to us. And so maybe we can find a little solace actually in realizing we don't have much control at all. So when I think about my life that way and I see this little graph, yeah, 50%, that's a lot of percent. That's like half over. But I also see a lot of empty dots here. And if I live anywhere close to what this lifespan is telling me, that's a lot of dots that I can still do a lot of things with. And that's probably the case for you too. Even if you only have a few dots left, find what matters to you and be persistent and do that. And you can find meaning and significance for yourself and for the people around you. Also, there's a bunch of apps where you can do this and even have like widgets on your home screen with these dots. I wouldn't recommend that, although you can do progress bars for like the month and the day, which are kind of cool, but I don't know if you want a constant reminder of your lifespan. But anyway, I'll link those apps in the book down in the video description. And if you're new here, subscribe. I have one other video. This is my second ever on this channel, so we'd love to have you join me for future videos too.